Morning everyone, how are you? Hope you are doing well. Today's video is just incredible because it's just about incredible ways to help you remember new words that you learn on a daily basis. I know that we all struggle with that, like we learn new expressions and words and we forget them easily. Today's video is about tips based on a personal experience. I'm going to give you 10 suggestions or tips that would definitely help you remember your new words. If you'd like to know more, just stay here. I'll come back in a bit. Hello, welcome back. So as I said in the introduction, today we will be sharing some of the amazing tips to help you remember the words that you learn. I would like to say that for no doubt English or other languages are based on vocabulary expressions because we are going to use those words that we learn to talk and communicate. But the issue is that we forget what we learn most of the times. What should we do? Great. So let's get down to business. So number one, the thing that I'd like to do is to learn expressions, sentences, instead of single words. Why? Because if you learn single words, you are going to forget them easily. You don't know how to use them in a sentence. You will be lost. But if you try to remember sentences, expressions, so grammar is going to be easier for you because you are using it in a very specific structure. You know how to use the new word, you know how to put it in a sentence or expression or whatever. So using sentences or expressions or learning sentences or expressions is, a way better better than learning single words, right? That brings me to the second tip, which is using a dictionary. For sure, every single learner uses a dictionary to check, the word or to look up a word or whatever. But the mistake that many learners do is trying to learn new words, from a dictionary. What do I mean? They go to a dictionary, they go to the letter B or A, for example, and they start looking for random words and write to them. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because I don't think there is a kind of ambition or there's a kind of enthusiasm or excitement in that. So what should you do? For example, when you talk to a native speaker, you watch the news, you watch films, movies, documentaries, cartoons maybe, and you listen to the words. This is interesting. So first, as I said before, the word is being used in a sentence or in an expression, so you know how to use it, and you will remember it better. Why? Because you remember that movie, you remember that documentary, you remember that book that you have read, you remember that notice that you have read, maybe in the street or whatever, right? So don't take a dictionary and try to memorize. This is wrong, okay? So try to select your vocabulary or try to use the words from what you have already watched, listened to, read, okay? This will help you. Now, the other thing, let's go to number three, number three, is dividing, the learning process. What I mean is that, as I said before, many people would like to learn maybe 30, 50 words in a single day. That's wrong. The very first time we have the impression that it's okay, you understand what you are writing maybe, but within a week or so, you will forget everything. So it's highly recommended to learn 3 to 5 words maximum, or even if you learn a word a day, that's great. But you make sure that you remember it and to use it correctly. So you use that word, you can maybe derive, you take the word, for example, think, the noun is thought, okay, many thoughts, it means ideas. You know that the adjective is thoughtful, people are thoughtful, that person is thoughtful. So you know how to use that word, you know what is the noun, what is the adjective. So you are going to learn a lot of other meanings. You know that in English, one word can have 2, 3, maybe sometimes 10 words. If you take the word get, go, they all have more than 7 meanings, right? So it's better to take one word to know its meanings, to know how can we form adjectives and nouns from that word and to use them correctly in sentences and expressions. That's very interesting. It's better, it's way better than learning 30 words in a single day and then we forget everything, okay? So let's move on to number 4. We all learn new vocabulary, in a classical way. What do I mean? So we find a word, we use a dictionary, we write, and that's it. Wrong. Now you have to accompany that word with an action. Why? Because actually our brains remember actions. For example, if you see someone running, so the picture of someone running comes first to your mind and then the word. Okay, so it's the same thing with new words. If you accompany the word that you learn with the action, so you give better chances for yourself to learn and remember that word. Okay, so if we talk about the word read, let's give a very easy example. Read. So try to do like this. Read. I read a book. I read newspapers. Look, so you accompany that word with an action. Right? So you do like this. I'm writing an article, an essay, a paragraph. So you accompany the word that you learn with an action because your brain will remember the actions and then you will have the word that comes straight away. Right? So never forget that. You will get better chances to remember the words if you accompany them with actions. Okay? Great. Let's move on to type number 5. Tip number 5 is to practice the word many times. Don't just write the word in your notebook and close and okay, goodbye, I've learned a new word. No, it doesn't work like that. So what I'd like you to do is to practice the word, not only writing but in speaking, because after all, we are learning these words to be able to practice them. So I always say that using the new words, or vocabulary in examples is maybe the best way to practice it, even if you are alone. Okay. So as I said before, maybe the new word that you have learned is read. So use it many times. Okay. So look, my mother is reading her book. My brother is reading his essay. I am reading a newspaper. And you try to come up with many examples. Okay, as many examples as possible. The more you give examples and use the word in examples, the better you will remember the word. Okay. Let's go on to I think tip number 7 now. I hope that I'm not skipping. It's to use the new words that we learn in our daily conversations. Now, I said before, try to give examples, try to use the word in examples. So here, maybe alone, it's like an individual work. But now, what we would like you to do is to use this word with conversations. Okay? Maybe you are going to struggle, you are going to try to remember, but the more you use it, the new word, the better you remember it, right? So when you talk to your friends, use that word. Or you can just say, I've learned that and that. Yesterday I was reading and I come up with that. And you tell the others what's the meaning of that word, okay? Maybe the word that you have learned is a synonym of another word that you already know. So don't use that word that you already know and alter it with the new word that you have learned. Okay, so English or other languages is full of opposites, synonyms, and everything. So try to use these new words that you learn as synonyms. Okay, we have our memory or brain stores a lot of words that we know. Now let's give a chance to the newly learned words, okay? So use them in your conversations, in your chats, in your write-ins. So whenever you learn something new, just put it, just use it, exposure. This is what I mean. So let's use the words that we are learning, right? Let's go to tip number 8. So number 8 is something related to our psychology. We always feel down, we feel low, we feel embarrassed, we feel like we don't value ourselves, we underestimate ourselves. Why? Because I forget, I'm not using the words. So get rid of that negative energy. Try to be positive. Try to remember, why do we always remember the negative things? Why do we always remember that I have forgotten that and that I was not able? Why don't you remember the time that you used new words correctly, when you talked maybe to a native speaker and you understood and he understood you as well, and you were very happy. So when you learn new words, you are in that process, try to be happy, try to be positive, okay? So this great energy, this positive energy helps you to remember, okay? Feel happy when you remember. So, you know, these kind of emotions, believe me, you know, out of a personal experience, like, it helps a lot. And you will find out that it's easier for you to use them, okay? So give yourself this great positive energy, okay? Be happy, smile when you learn, don't be sad. If you forget, it's okay, right? Very good. Let's go to tip number 9, which is actually to share what we learn with our friends. Don't be selfish. Don't keep what you learn for yourself. Share with your friends. Sometimes we have this ego, and we feel egoistic a bit, and we want to keep what we learn for ourselves. That's wrong. So you are afraid to say, if I tell my friends, or maybe if I tell my classmates, he's gonna be better than me. Get rid of these thoughts, okay? So share, because you are helping yourself. You are helping yourself to practice the word, and you are helping others to learn. So the more you share with others, the more you will learn. So maybe you share with your classmate what you learn, and your classmate or your friend is going to share with you as well. So instead of learning 2 words, you're going to learn 4, 5, because the other person, the person you are talking to, is going to share with you as well. Okay, so share the knowledge, and that's why I ask you to share this video with your friends so that many other people can learn. Let's move on to the last thing, which is number 10. I do believe that it's okay if you forget. You know, even in our mother tongue, sometimes when we speak Arabic or French or a language that we know very well, it happens that we forget a word that we know. So it's okay if you forget a word that you have newly learned, okay? As I said before in tip 7 or 6, it's okay. So don't make a fuss about forgetting something. It's okay. You forget it today, you really remember it tomorrow. Because the thing is that when you feel sad, you know, that feeling is going to have a very negative impact on your learning. Okay? So be positive, be happy, just follow all the tips that I have discussed and shared with you today, and believe me, you are gonna feel and find a difference. At the end, I would like to thank you for watching. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, and share this video with your friends. I'm very happy to share this with you. Hope it's fruitful. Thank you, and bye.